Hello, this is my, it's about pagan tools and, how they're used, what they're used for, the significance of those tools. Now, I'm thinking I might do a part 1 and 2 for this, and also, as a second point, I don't think it'll be all pagan religions, but just the majority of it will be Wiccan, because I'm finding it difficult to find stuff on Druid and Asatru and all the other pagan branches. So I'll start on what I know so far about the Wiccan tools. Okay, so first one is the Atame. Now, an Atame is basically used for directing power, or it can be used for cutting. Well, basically, if you think of a blade, that is what its purposes are in magic, in the worlds, the metaphysical worlds. And usually you'll find that a lot of them have particular symbols on there, such as on this one, as a sign of the horned god. Well, this is the one I'm looking at. It has a sign of the horned god, which is that one there. That one. And that is a very important symbol for them. And then it's also got, like, some will have the salute and the scourge, which is, well, it's a symbol of itself. The ankh is a very common thing to find on one. It's an Egyptian, and it's very commonly used in Kemetic. Another one is the sword. Now, a sword it's not as common of an item, unlike most. It's one of those extra things that you can get. So not everybody uses it. Nonetheless, you'll mostly find the sword in Gardnerian and Alexandrian and maybe Sikhs. Mostly the ones that are not eclectic, the ones that cannot be changed, they're fixed. And that's how it works. Now the wand, this is considered to be a common one that is going to be used in, well, it's just a common for God's sake, I can't really think of how it's said. It is a common representation of the element of air, and it is commonly used in pagan rituals and rites. A lot of pagans use wands. This includes a lot of druids will use wands, Wiccans use wands, some witches I bet will use wands. I'm not saying all of them will, but some probably. It all depends upon the pagan, really. But it's an element of air, like I said. And usually what you'll do is you'll put maybe a crystal on either one end or both ends of it. And they're basically to increase its power, its potency. Which is a very good thing. Because if you're wanting something like that, you want it to be very powerful. So what else is there? There's also the pentacle. Now the pentacle is it's one of the most commonly known symbols in Wicca. And the pentacle is primarily the earth symbol, because it represents the 5 elements of the earth, which is spirit, earth, air, fire, water. Or, well, it's not always called spirit, sometimes it's called Akesha. I'll probably go on to that sometime later. But the upright pentagram is supposed to represent, well, the spiritual world, the elements, the goddess and god, and the inverted, which has been for a long time associated with satanic rituals and rites, all that bullshit. Now, to be truthful, I don't actually know if Satanists do use a pentagram in that way. like I say, it depends on the Satanist, just like it depends on the pagan. But it's supposed to represent in a lot of to a few pagans the physical world, the one we are in now. So that's another. A chalice, which is obviously the element of water and is a feminine symbol actually. That is very common. Well, it's very commonly used. And what you usually do is, well, at the end of a Wiccan ritual, or maybe, well, there's a few rituals out there, and at the end they'll have a feast. And although not all of them use it, just like the Asatru and Odinist and Norse and Heathen, all them in that category, basically they all use, well, most of them would use a horn, a drinking horn. I'll get onto that one though later, like I say. A censer is yet again another element of air, and it's basically used to bring about, well, sometimes it's used to induce you into other worlds, stuff like that, or it's just used to bring a good aroma to the ritual. It depends on your point of view on it, because some I've found are really good for bringing you into different states or forms. Others, however, are really weird in when it comes to you. Sometimes it can just really weird you out. Strange. Centres are always a strange thing, because when you look at the smoke, it's always like it's in mid-air. It's never actually fastly moving or anything. It's kind of like Serenity. But that's just me explaining it. Obviously people will see it a different way. The white-handled knife is, well, it could be called the white-handled knife or the Bolin, or Berlin. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I'll just call it the white-handled knife. And that is mainly used for cutting. It's because the Atem is used for cutting, but that's used for power cutting and magic cutting. It's a different kind of cutting. However, the white-handled knife is used for cutting herbs. It's basically when you're sorting out maybe some incense and you cut up the herbs for the incense, that would be what you use. Now this is a tool that is not commonly used anymore, and that is a scourge. Like I say, it's used a lot in Gardnerian and Alexandrian rituals, but it's basically a whip. And it affects blood circulation, and it's supposed to gain the sight. Now, in modern day, we've found alternative, safer ways to do that. But some people still use it because it still gives them, well, a lot of them find it gives them ecstasy. Not ecstasy as in the drug, I mean ecstasy is in pure happiness. That pure feeling. I've found other ways to use it. I use incense. Cords are used. Now, it depends on the colour, just like it does with candles, actually. So, if you're doing a spell, for example, you would use a different cord for a different thing. Now I'm going to go on to candles, and they're used to represent mainly the goddess and god on a Wiccan altar, or some other pagan altars use that too. But it triggers a lot of things. It's supposed to trigger changes. It's a mainstream thing of fire. It's very powerful when it comes to it. Okay, so this is my part 1 of 2 or 3 of pagan tools. For now I've just done quite a lot of Wiccan tools, although they will be used in some other pagan rites. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any complaints or anything that I can do to improve, I would ask you please to comment on it and tell me about that. But like I said, this is just Wiccan rituals, not Wiccan rituals, Wiccan tools for now. I will move on to some others later in the other videos. So subscribe, like, comment, tell me what you think, and goodbye.